Today we're coming from Building 77 at the Brooklyn Navy Yard.
This original vintage poster dates from 1969 and shows Barbara Remington's famous illustration for the Lord of the Rings trilogy. The poster was damaged and ripped and required an archival poster fix.
Hi, I'm Zachary and welcome back to Poster School. Today you're going to see my parents restore another rare vintage poster. Watch.
Well, it's ripped, as you can see here. It's got a long rip in it, and it's chewed up on the bottom margin. And it's missing a top and two side margins, which we're going to add later after it's linen backing.
We're actually going to mount this poster to this screen of acid-free paper and cotton canvas. We put acid-free wheat paste behind the poster and roll it out so that it's nice and flat on the backing. Linen backing makes an old poster stronger so that it lasts longer. It's archival, meaning that it's good for the paper. The Ballantine editions of The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings had covers by Barbara Remington, the artist of this poster. She was a professional illustrator. She was asked to make The Hobbit cover before she had a chance to read the book. So while the painting is not accurate to the book, it is nonetheless fantastic. And now the linen backing is finished.
Well, we're gonna let this poster dry on the screen for a few days. Before we continue, I just want to say, if you have questions about restoring your posters, you can do one of two things. Either come here in person, in which case we have to send you a pass, or send my dad an email. Tell him the size, tell him the condition, send a few photos, and we'll get back to you with a price for restoration. Now let's get back to this project.
Oki is going into this poster with something that we call paper pulp. It's something we make by using paper powder, paper that's been meshed up into powder, and mixing it with glue, a plant-based glue called methyl cellulose. It's made into a paste, and we use it to fill in those areas where there were holes or rips or paper missing. It dries into a paper, and it's ideal for doing this kind of restoration.
Next time you visit Posterfix, make sure to check out Russ and Daughters.
A few more days have passed, and it's time to trim down the poster. The last step in the process of restoration is to take water-reversible gouache. That's a type of paint. It's like watercolor. It reverses with water. And that's what we're using to do the touch-up on this poster, to blend in the colors, sharpen the edges, and correct any imperfections that exist in the poster so that it'll look nice when completed. The Ballantine editions of The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings had covers by Barbara Remington, the artist of this poster. She was a professional illustrator. She was asked to make The Hobbit cover before she had a chance to read the book. As a result, the illustrations had some incorrect elements, such as a lion on the cover of The Hobbit. Tolkien strongly disliked the work. It represents a fantastic style of illustration applied because the work is considered fantasy. This approach is the absolute opposite of one that should be applied. Fantasy illustration should be realistic in order to bring the viewer to the imagined world. Be that as it may, these images that make up the three covers of The Lord of the Rings that have been combined to make this one poster, these images have come to represent The Lord of the Rings to anyone growing up in the U.S. during the 1960s. These are the covers of the millions of paperback books read by teens during the explosion of interest that is referred to as the Tolkien phenomenon. This poster is a panorama of the book covers. It was published in 1969 and sold in bookstores for approximately $10 to $12, approximately 38 by 73 inches. Now, you can find them sometimes on eBay selling for hundreds of dollars depending on condition. The original painting is in the collection of Marquette University. So, using watercolor pencils and watercolor markers, we're putting the finishing touch on this Lord of the Rings poster. The creases, the rips, are all getting some matching color. And once we do that, we then remove the masking tape.
Well, that about wraps it up for today's edition of Poster School. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye!